let's go over how to achieve inbox zero with Gmail, just Gmail. For those who don't know what that is, inbox zero is the goal of always maintaining a clean inbox. And that means we need to check our inbox at least daily. And at the very least, we need to be able to separate the emails that need our action from the emails that don't. So, um, there are different ways to do this. There are some really complicated ways. What I wanted to do is just show you a very simple way if you're just starting out to declutter your Gmail only using Gmail, no add-ons, nothing else, just what you got here. So I really don't think you need other platforms most of the time. Most people won't, I don't think. You just need a workflow. So let's see how much of a difference we can make just using Gmail labels, the archiving feature, and the auto advance feature. And I guess one more thing. Um, we will also separate the unread from the read email. I feel most people should be doing this by default, so I don't really count it. It's something I usually do on all my inboxes. This what we're using today is a spam throwaway email. I guess it's a throwaway email that I use for signing up to platforms when I think they're going to send me a lot of spam, and they usually do. So first things first, we'll go to settings, and I think this is the default density on the left. Well, I switch that to compact, and then inbox type. I like to see unread first, and then look at this. We're already way more organized. This looks more manageable than that whole page of some yes, some unread, some read. So that's the first thing. Get that done. And now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a label. And I like to create a simple to-do label. And you want to, well, let's create that first. I think it's a good practice to set a color to it. Unlike that post-it color, sort of. It reminds you need to do something on there. Now, note on labels, if you end up creating multiple labels, they self-sort by alphabetical order, I believe. So in that case, what I like to do is keep the to-do label at the very top because we're going to use it a lot. And what I usually do is I create a two integer sort of tag with to do at the very top. And I'll just create another label to show you what I'm talking about. Let's see. So that one says receipts over there on the side. Maybe I could put save for later. I don't know. I wouldn't create this. I have other stuff like Salesforce, I guess. I have some things that I like to do with Salesforce. I'll make that label. And instead of being sorted by alphabetical, they'll sort by that number tag first. So always keep the to do. By doing this, you keep the whatever you want at the very top at the very top. In this case, to do. And this is what I have on my actual other inboxes for different clients. So I will have a 00 to do, and that's at the very top. Now, let's also, or I guess I should show you what I do with this. So now that I have this tag, I'll go through the email and I'll look at something and I'll determine whether I need to take action on it. Do I just need to read this and be informed about it? Is this something I'm CC'd on? Maybe it goes to someone else and I can use it as reference at another point in time, but not right now. If this is something I really don't need to take action on, then I would archive it. And that goes to the archive. Let me go back to it. So if I ever need to look for it again, I haven't deleted it. It's in the archive. A lot of people don't use the archive. And you'll be able to pull it back up, without really worrying about it cluttering your inbox. A lot of people do this. They mark it red. Maybe they take off the to-do tag after they're done and just leave it in unread. But then you end up with this, a lot of unread emails. So we'll clear this up a little bit later, but um, another thing that I do as part of the workflow, right? So I will either archive it if I need it for later, or in this case, let's see, craft test starts tomorrow, free shadow box design. This is something that I don't anticipate needing later on. It's sort of a marketing email. And in this case, we'll just, for our example, because all of these are going to be marketing emails or spam, in this case, I'm just going to pretend that this is only a marketing email and I don't care about it. And so in that case, I would just delete it. And remember that it gets moved to the trash. You have 30 days to retrieve it. So you can always go back to it if you need to within those 30 days. Maybe it's something you do remember later in the week that you need. You can always do that. No worries. All right. So now we have another email. And maybe, let's say, this is another from the same sender. I could just remove that. Let's say this was a real email and I actually had a client asking me, will you do me a favor? And they need me to send them some files. So then here is where I would mark it as to do. And then when you go back to the inbox, that email will stand out above the rest. All right. And what we're going to do at the start of the day is just mark the things that need our attention. And the idea is to get through all of our unread email as quickly as possible. The other thing that a lot of people do with to-dos is you mark things to do that you think will take more than 5 or 10 minutes. It's up to you to use your criteria and how you manage your time throughout the day. But you want to mark things that are going to take a little longer as to do. All right. Let me see. This looks like. I'm going to delete that again. Let me refresh this because it looks like. Yeah. There's a lot of email in this inbox, so we do need to clear it. Let's go over here. Let's say this were a real email from a client. Do you hate me? Oh, a client's upset or something. We maybe want to reply right away. So if I think that my action needed on something is going to take less than 5 minutes, then I would take care of it right now. That's part of inbox zero. Take care of the things that you can right away as you go through your inbox. And the things that are going to take a little bit longer to do, you mark so that you can get to later or soon, hopefully, if you run through your email pretty soon. So in this case, I would take my action. I would reply, hey, I don't hate you. Actually, just, I've been very busy, whatever. I'll send that out. I'll send that email. And then what I will do is I will archive that email. And so that's been taken care of. It's on them now to reply to me. If I want to follow up with that email, I can create another label. I can leave it in the unread section, and that way it's going to bother me because I need to follow up with it, and so I'll be checking it. But it'll be a secondary goal of going through our inbox on a daily basis, right? Now, what I'm going to do right now is show you how to get rid of, if you're just starting out, I imagine you have a lot of email that's unread just sitting in your inbox. Let's pretend you want to start anew and just clear out everything that's unread. This is how you would do it. So you would go to your search up here. You would say is unread. And then you have everything that is here. Now let's say I want to exclude the label, that to-do task that we marked just a little bit ago. Oh, it's suggesting the completion there. Yeah. So this will mean get everything that is unread, but exclude the label, the to-do label that we made. I'm going to select this. And I am going to... Oh, wait. Why didn't you guys correct me? I want to take everything that is red. Sorry about that. Everything that is red minus that to-do task. Now I'm going to take all of this and I'm going to click this select all conversations that match this search. If you remember the number, it was something close to 4,000. So we've selected about 4,000 conversations. And it is up to you. If you work in an environment where you don't need these anymore, you could delete them. In my case, I am going to archive them. This is what most of you would do. And then you see this little notice at the bottom. There's just too many, so it's going to take a little bit for Gmail to do its thing. And you'll see down here, this is going to start to whittle down. So refresh that. Let's try that again. All right, we're going to archive. See if we do any damage. It is quite a lot of email, I'll be honest with you. Yeah, well, we can do it manually. But that should take, depending on the amount of email, 4,000 is quite a few. So that should take about 15 minutes. I think worst case scenario, it could take an hour. But you get that going, all right? And that's the goal. You want to archive anything that you don't need cluttering your inbox. You can always go back to it. So don't worry about that. Now, what else do we need? We need one more thing that's gonna help us do this this management a lot quicker. Is if you go to settings, we're gonna go to advanced, and then we're gonna go to auto advance, and we're gonna ask Gmail to show us the next conversation. I'm going to enable that. And then something I found, at least for my personal workflow, is if you start at the top reading your email and make your way down, you are seeing the most recent to the oldest. I like to look at the oldest first and then work my way up, because if something has been sitting in my inbox for 3 days and I haven't looked at it, maybe it's necessary that I check it out. So now, because of that workflow, right, I'll go into settings, and in general, this auto advance, I'm going to go to newer. I'm going to set that to newer. If that's not how you like to work, then don't do that. Should be set, right? Save those changes, come back here. And so what I would do, I would go in here, and I would just go through my process. Let's say we're closing today, 50% off coupon expires today. Let's say I want to take action on this. I'm going to set this to do. I want to take advantage of this coupon. I'm going to set to do. And I'm actually going to go back to inbox after to do. Let's look at this one. Happy birthday. It's not my birthday. So what I would do is I would delete this. And by deleting that, it automatically kicks me into the next email. So now let's look at this one. Insane results. If you're running PPC, whatever. Let's say this was an email where I was CC'd on. I don't really need to take action. I've read it. I realize no action needed from me. I'm going to archive it, and that'll kick me into the next email. All right. So you really only go back to the inbox once you've set your label for to do. But that's actually just my habit, because I want to see my progress. You can always click newer and go to the next one. But that auto advance will help you with archive and deletions. Weekly profit opportunity. This isn't for me. This is spam. I'll go ahead and delete it. And we're going to do that. I'm just going to pretend that I've done a few. Oh, unread notifications. Let's do that. Let's move over. 50% coupon expires today. Hey, I want to take advantage of that. It's still January. Technically, I'm trending. Whatever this is, we're going to archive. Appointment setter. I've heard of this. Kaplan. Don't need that. Don't need that. Sean Terry. Right? So you'd go through your inbox and figure out what do you need to keep. Maybe you don't need to keep it in your inbox. Maybe there's stuff you do, right? So let's say you got something from a client and you want to keep it unread. Let's say you've been CC'd on a conversation. It's from a client to a teammate, and you want to follow up with the teammate. And so you want to make like a little reminder. First of all, you should be using your task manager for stuff like that. There's other little ways to use Slack to do that. But in this case, let's say we're just using Gmail. You want a reminder that you need to follow up. Then you would just do nothing. You would just leave it unread. Move on to your next email. And that's why it's important that you archive all your unread stuff, because you only want things in your unread that you need to follow up with. Maybe not as urgently, but you just want to have them as a reminder in your inbox that you need to do something. And you could have it as a to-do, but a to-do means that the action is yours to take. And so I like to leave email unread if I just need to check in with it after some time. And then, let's say it's been 2 weeks and I haven't seen any movement on that, and I want to mark it now with a to-do, because now I'm going to take point and say, you know what? Nobody else has acted on it. It's just time for someone to do something with this. And that person may be you. All right. Let's keep on deleting some of these things. All right. Kind of cool. All right. I'm going to reset these. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of these, mark them as read, and archive them. All right. I'm going to refresh a little bit more. Now, once you've been doing this for a while, this is going to look a lot better. Let's set this everything else thing. Let's ask it to show us more of that email. So we're going to go to CL settings. We're going to go to labels. Let's see, inbox. Everything else, we're going to go show 50 items. Show 50 items. Save changes. Back to inbox. All right, now we got everything. We got all 28 of our emails. You can see that most of them don't have a to-do on them. Most of them were just read. And then it is up to me at that point what I want to do. Again, I like to go the oldest email to the newest and work through it. And so that's what I will do. Okay, delete that. Do you have 15 minutes? This is not from a client. I'll delete it. There's something happening today. Maybe I'll put to do. And so on. And then what you'll end up with is something like this. You'll end up with an inbox where all of your messages are read. You have a few items that are needing your action today. And then you have a few things that you will follow up with later. All right. So after you've done that, and when you're doing this daily, this should only take you about 5-10 minutes to go through. And then to that, let's add 5 to 10 minutes for each action item that is going to require some of your attention immediately, right? So as you remember, we're going through our inbox, and then maybe there's something we want to handle right away. We handle it, and then we archive it. And so that is going to add to your inbox process. But by the time you're done, you're going to end up with a very short to-do list, because now you've tackled pretty much everything in your email. That is about as much as I can offer you. If you're still here, and you want a bonus tip, I like to set up keyboard shortcuts for those archiving and deleting things. So custom keyboard shortcuts, enable that, save changes. And now when you're going through your stuff here, let's say I need to archive this email, I can just hit the key, the E key. Let's see if that works. Always the worst for the example. All right, advanced custom keyboard shortcuts. And here are the keyboard shortcuts. All right, so maybe these are going to be something else, but we will double check them. Archive. It is the E key. Sometimes it's just glitchy when you've just set it up, so keep that in mind. That works mostly. Most of the time, it works on my Gmail. Unless you're running another software that conflicts with those keys, then you could change it. But I don't know. For some reason, it's not working right now. So that's a terrible example. But once you set it up, save it, and you should be able to use the E key to archive, and it'll automatically save you that. Click there, and D to delete. I think I've done too many changes all at once on this inbox, and it's now not cooperating. But that is pretty much the workflow. What do you do with your to-dos? Once you've done your to-do, just archive it, and it's gone out of your life. All right. Let me know if you have any feedback on this. Let me know if you do things a different way. I'm always looking at platforms that can help with Gmail organization. I know there are things like Missive and stuff that can make this very complicated. So I wanted to offer a solution that's like as simple as it can get. Labels, rules, and just switching up the views and having a workflow. So I hope that helps.